Everybody had a little slight computer problem. Hopefully that's fixed now and we can get going. Don't want to see my mug, you want to see the cards and what's going on the table. So that's what we got going on. Let's see if I can fix this a little bit better. No, that's worse. All right, let's go back to the way it was. Okay. There we are. After some minor complications. My original stream I'd set up, I hit a button, I hit something that caused it to conk out basically, so I had to redo it. So the few of you that were there before waiting on it, I apologize. That was not what I had intended to do, obviously. That's what happens when I have too much time on my hands before the live stream starts. I should just do it right away. I was trying to do it right on the hour at 9 o'clock, and I should have just went with what I had and not messed with anything. But, you know, it happens. So let me get back to where I need to be so I can see what you guys are seeing. And I'm almost there. Getting there. Anyway, this is the final game from April the 24th on the schedule. April 25th, of course, is the next day. And on that April 25th day, the first game from April 25th will be Detroit and Kansas City. A good pitching matchup. Mark Gubaza, otherwise known as Gubaza, against Jack Morris of the Tigers. But that's the first game on April 25th. Tonight we have the final game of April 24th. Tomorrow will be the final game of the 1990 Cincinnati Reds Atlanta Braves series in History Maker Baseball. And then Friday I'll probably do the Detroit Kansas City game to start April 25th. And then Saturday will be a live stream of the Cincinnati Reds home opener against the San Diego Padres in the 1990 History Maker Baseball game. All right, so it looks like everything is in place as best I can tell. Hello, Hardwood. Hello, baseball. Hello, RJL. Like I said, I tried to set up this live stream start at 9 o'clock. I had it all set to go, and when I was getting ready to get it started, I hit some kind of button and it screwed everything up, so I had to restart it. So that's the reason why there was a bit of a snafu there. Yankees and Indians, final game from April the 24th. It'll be Phil Niekro against Charlie Hudson. The Yankees enter the game 10-6. The Indians enter the game 8-9. Phil Niekro's wild pitch ratings of 15 with that knuckleball, and his pass ball is a 9. Charlie Hudson's wild pitch is a 6. Balk is a 0. Holding the runners, it's a +1 for Niekro and a -3 for Hudson. And Niekro enters the game 1-0, and so does Hudson. There you see the starting lineups: Ricky Henderson, Claudell Washington, Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield, Dan Pasqua, Mike Pagliarulo, Willie Randolph, Rick Cerone, and Wayne Tollison for the Yankees. And for the Indians, it'll be Bernazard, Tabler, Franco, Carter, Hall, Snyder, Jacoby, Bando, and Gallagher. In a couple days, Brett Butler will be back for Cleveland off of injury. So with those preliminaries out of the way, hopefully we can get going here. Got to bring the game up on the Strat computer. Phil Niekro is 1-0 with an ERA of 5.12, 19 innings pitched, 17 hits, 16 walks, and 7 strikeouts. So he's definitely been done in by the walk early on. To have 16 walks in just 19 innings is really, really not good. And that's why he was paying the price for it. So Niekro will be finishing up the warm-up tosses, and he'll be facing Ricky Henderson, leadoff man for the Yankees. Henderson's hitting .259 with only 1 home run, which was his only RBI. And this game, final game of April 24th is now underway. A 1-7 for Ricky, and that's a 1-2 double. Anything else, he will fly to center, but that is a 1. So Ricky Henderson with a leadoff double, thanks to the D20. Leadoff double for Ricky. He, of course, will have to be held at second base because he runs so well. And I'll bring up Claudell Washington. Washington in center field, hitting .375 in just 24 at-bats, no homers and 3 driven in. And right away a havoc roll, and there's a 1. Chance of a wild pitch on Niekro, 1-15. And it is a wild pitch. I come up 1 3 times in a row. This one must be loaded. I don't know, but it's a wild pitch on Niekro. And that's going to put Ricky to third base. And now the infield will play back, figuring there's going to be some runs scored in this game. They want to try to avoid a big inning. So they're going to play back. And they'll allow the run to score on a ground ball because they want to stop a big inning. 2-7, that's a strikeout of Claudel. That definitely helps Mr. Niekro. That keeps Ricky at third base with 1 out. And that brings up Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly. Donnie Baseball is hitting .270, 2 homers, 10 driven in. And now with 1 out, the Indians have crept the infield in. See if that makes any difference or not. Mattingly, chance for the run batted in. 5-5, and that's going to be a walk. So Niekro will walk Mattingly. It does set up a double play. So they will play back for the double play as they set up for that. Mattingly will not be held at first. And here's Dave Winfield, right fielder. Winfield is entering the game hitting .269, 4 homers, 11 driven in. 1 ground ball double play will get Niekro out of the inning. 6-3. And that's a fly ball right field X. Right fielder is Corey Snyder. He's a 2. This could certainly be a sacrifice fly. 2 and a 5. It might even be a hit. Let's take a look. 2 and a 5 for an outfielder. 2 and a 5 is an F2, so it will be a sacrifice fly, assuming there's no error. His error range is E11, which means he's got to avoid 3, 4, 13, 15, 16, and 18. And he does, but it will be a sacrifice fly to right field as Ricky Henderson comes home. And the Yankees take a 1-0 lead on the sacrifice fly by Dave Winfield. As they cash in that run, that wild pitch comes back to bite Mr. Niekro. So with 2 outs, Mattingly still at first. Here's Danny Pasqua. He's hitting .111. 3 out of 27, but 2 of those 3 hits are home runs. So he's got 2 home runs, 2 runs batted in. Oh, didn't roll the D20 to go with this. So let's do that real quick. And you know what? That knocked over one of the D6s, so we're just going to re-roll that. 1-8 for Pasqua struck him out. That was a tainted roll because it banged into that, and I don't know what the original roll was, and that's going to do it there. The Yankees pick up a run on Niekro, though. And they take a 1-0 lead going into the bottom of the first for Charlie Hudson, right-hander. Charles Hudson, 1-0 with a .281 earned run average, 16 innings pitched, 8 hits, 6 walks, and 13 on the strikeouts. Hello, Ben, JT. Good to see you. Sportsman Z. Hey, how you doing, Sportsman? I hope your health is doing better. I think I remember you saying you were doing better, so I hope you are. I know it's a scary thing. It's got to be a scary thing, but hopefully modern medicine is helping out. And I am looking forward to your interview on Jeffrey Guterman's channel on Saturday. That'll be interesting. He's always an interesting character to chat with. Hello, Doug, Ben, Joel, Hili. How are all you guys? Again, this is the 1987 April 24th date. I am scoring the game on the computer as I'm playing it, so that's why there's a slight pause between playing it and going to the next batter. So, all right, leading off will be Tony Bernazard of the Cleveland Indians. And let me minimize this so I can see everything. Hopefully. There we go. Now I can see everything, I think. All right, so Tony Bernazard, hitting .276, 2 homers, 9 runs driven in. Charles Hudson, 3-3 to Bernazard. That's a ballpark single check. And you know what? I forgot to write down the ball. I tell you, you always try to prepare everything, but there's always something you forget. I mean, at least for me, I always forget something to do. There's always some minor detail that I leave off. And now I'm trying to find my ballpark effects sheet, which I can't find. I could go off what the computer is showing just as a random thing, but I'd rather do the actual page because that's where I usually do my games, is off the ballpark sheet that comes from Strat-O-Matic, but for some reason it's escaped me, so I don't know where it is. So we'll use the ballpark effects that are, yes, the other channel is always prepared. I know that. Let's see. So ballpark effects, according to the Strat computer in this game, singles for lefties are 1 to 11. Well, actually both are 1 to 11. Lefties and righties are 1 to 11. Home runs are 1 to 7 for lefties and 1 to 10 for righties, according to what the stadium says. So in that case, Bernazard, switch hitter, ballpark single. He's a left-handed hitter, so ballpark singles are 11. That's an 8, so he will get the single. So he will get the single, Will Bernazard, and he will have to be held because he does have the asterisk, and if you don't hold him, he gets the lead automatically. So they're going to have to hold him on. And, yeah, the winter is, even in Virginia, it's rough. I mean, I think on Tuesday it's supposed to be down to 9 degrees or something like that at night with a high of 25. So we're not used to that here in the south of the Mason-Dixon line, but we got by the last couple of years with a mild winter, so I guess it's making up for it. All right, we'll do the havoc roll. Nothing's happening. Bernazard's not going to try to go anywhere. Here's Pat Tabler, first baseman. Actually, no, he's DHing this game. Joe Carter's playing first base. So Tabler, 427, 3 homers, 15 driven in. That's a 1-9, and that is a ground ball shortstop A. That's a 6-4-3, just what the doctor ordered double play. 6-4-3, taking care of business, are the Yankees. And that's quickly two away for Julio Generisimo Franco, shortstop. And Franco is hitting .355, a homer and 10 runs driven in. The Cleveland team has a bunch of guys hitting really well, but their pitching just been letting them down. 3-8, and that's a ground ball to short. So once again, Tollison will handle it, and the Cleveland Indians are retired in the first. So 1 inning in the books, and we've got a 1-0 Yankee lead. And Phil Niekro back out will face Mike Pagliarulo, third baseman, Willie Randolph, and Rick Cerrone. Well, global warming went to climate change, so I guess that covers everything. All right, so now we have Mike Pagliarulo hitting .231, 2 homers, 6 runs driven in. I usually play in a t-shirt when I'm playing, but today I have a long sleeve shirt on because it is cool. Even inside the house, it can get cool. Cooler than I like it to be. Anyway, I like to be warm. All right, so here's Niekro to Pags. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. So Pagliarulo out on strikes. He's out of there. For Willie Randolph, second baseman. Randolph, .317, no homers, 10 driven in. 4-5, and that's a ground ball to second. Bernazard handles it, 2 down. Indians and the Yankees both looking up at the Brewers and the Blue Jays, specifically the Brewers. Blue Jays in second, so they're trying to make up some ground. Here's Rick Cerrone. Cerrone hitting .313, no homers, 3 driven in. 6-2, and that's a ground ball to the pitcher, Niekro, and that's an easy inning for Phil Niekro. Takes care of the Yankees quite nicely. We go to the bottom of the second, still 1-0 favor of the Pinstripers. And Joe Carter will lead things off for the Cleveland Indians. He played first base and all 3 outfield positions in 1987. Of course, first base was his primary because that's what Strat has listed first. And that's what, yeah, Tabby does have a nice, she's downstairs in the bed. And she's kind of cozy, doesn't feel like coming up. Now, she made that cameo the other day, so, you know. So if you missed it in that Toronto White Sox game, she did make I don't remember what inning it was, but she did make a cameo. All right, so Joe Carter struggling at 127, one of the few Cleveland players not hitting. And he's hitting .127, homer and 3 runs driven in. 1-8 for Carter. 1-16 is a single, so he does get on the off the schneid there a little bit with the base hit, as a D20 was favorable. Carter can get the lead on a 2-5. Now it is a -3 factor, so if he got the lead, it'd be a 1-14, but they're going to try it anyway. See if he can get the lead. And he does with a 4. He does get the lead, so he has to steal. 19, but he holds a 17. -3 is a 14. 1-14, he steals it. And he does, right on the number. Stolen base for Joe Carter. And I tell you, Dwayne Tollison is chomping at the referee, saying that he was out, but the umpire, but ump says you go back and play your position and let me umpire. So Joe Carter steals it. He will not be held at second. Mel Hall is your batter. He's hitting 400. 2 homers, 11 runs batted in. So in 50 at bats, he's hitting 400. Really crushing the ball. That's a 2, chance of a balk or a pass ball. We're looking at a chance of a pass ball on the catcher, Chris Bando. His pass ball rating is a 9. 1-9 is a pass ball. No, he just blocks it. So no pass ball, and Mel Hall will step in. 5-11 to the lefty is a ballpark single again. It's 1-11. That's a 15, though, so it will be a line out to the second baseman, Mr. Randolph, for 1 away. So 1 down, and here comes Corey Snyder, right fielder. Snyder hitting 270, 3 homers and 7 driven in. That is 4-6, and that is a walk. So that'll be a walk. And I realized I looked at Bando's pass ball rating instead of Cerrone's, but they both had a 9, so it worked out the same, even though I went the wrong direction there, which I know RJL would tell you would happen on that other channel, but it can happen. All right, here's Brooke Jacoby hitting 438, 4 homers, 18 driven in. One of the league leaders in hitting. Hudson 1-3. It's another ballpark single check. 1-11, but that's an 18. He's going to line it to short. So 2 outs on 2 failed ballpark single checks with the high D20s. That brings up Chris Bando, catcher, and Bando is hitting 200 with 1 homer and 5 driven in. Hello, Kevin, if I didn't say hello to you earlier. Good to see you. No, Kevin, that's a different game you're thinking of. All right, so Hudson now to Bando. 1-8, and that's a pop out to first to end the inning. So nothing doing there for the Tribe. They come away empty-handed. We go to the third, still 1-0 Yankees. And leading off will be the number 9 hitter, Wayne Tollison, switch hitting shortstop. Wayne Tollison, followed by Ricky and Claudel. And Tollison struggling, 146, a homer and 5 driven in. 6-5, switch hitter batting left-handed, is a line out to short. Snagged by Franco. There's 1 away. And back to Ricky. He doubled and scored to lead off the game. 6-3 is a fly ball right field X. That's Snyder. He's a 2 with an E11. 2 and a 2. It's going to get down for a base hit. 2 and a 2 is a single. And E11. E11, that's a 5, so it's a rare play. So we have a single and a rare play. SI, it came up as an SI2, but nobody's on base. So it's just an SI period. Let's see here. Rare play. Batter hits a single with base runners. As the batter rounds first, the fielder throws the ball behind him and catches him off the bag for the out. So how about that? So he gets the single to right field, Ricky does, but then he rounds first too far, and Corey Snyder throws behind him and gets him 9-3, according to the rare play. So how about that? Ricky getting a little careless there with the bases. And Corey Snyder throws to Joe Carter. And Ricky is out of there. Hello, Alex. How you doing? So poor Ricky thought he had he did have his second hit of the game. They can't take that away from him, but he rounded first too far and got thrown out. Here's Claudel. 5-5 to the lefty is a walk. So the inning continues with the base on balls. And that will send up Don Mattingly. Donnie Baseball. Claudel can get the lead with a 6. So they're going to try to get the lead with Claudel. He needs a 6 to get the lead. Doesn't get it, so he will hold. And now Mattingly will swing away. 6-6, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. Shortstop is responsible for holding the runner at first base, so that means Franco will now turn to a 3E26 because of that. And it's a 1, so it doesn't matter anyway. That would have gotten through regardless. But as a 3 and a 1 instead of a 2 and a 1, let's see if it makes any difference. 3-1, 2-1. Yep, it's a 2-base single instead of a 1-base single. So Claudel will take third base. Mattingly will take first. Now we're going to check for an error chance on Franco, who's an E26, which means they need to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And he does. So it won't be an error, but it will be runners at the corners. And this is all with 2 outs after Ricky got thrown out. So Yankees might be getting 3 hits in the inning and come away with no runs. It's a distinct possibility. Hello, Scott. How you doing? All right, so Dave Winfield, the batter. 6-8. That's a walk for Niekro. So all of a sudden the bases are loaded. So after 2 outs and nobody on, Niekro has given up 2 singles and a walk to load the bases for the designated hitter, Danny Pasqua, left-handed hitter. And nothing going on there. So Pasqua struck out his first chance. 6-10 to the lefty is a catcher X. So the catcher in this case is Bando. He's a 2E2. So a 2 and a 1. Boy, this is getting worse. These D20s are coming up with such low numbers. 2 and a 1 is going to be a W/S, which will be a single. Will be a squib single that's going to score a run. Now we're going to check for an error. He's an E2. He's got to avoid 3, 17, and 18, which he does, but it's going to be an infield single on a squibber that Bando just can't get to. So Claudel will score, and everybody else will move up a base. The bases are still loaded. So that's certainly a little bit unusual. Hello, Mr. Ivamy. How are you? Good to see you. Yeah, I may have to swap out this D20. It's come up like 1 or 2, either a 1 or a 2 way too many times. All right, here's Pagliarulo. Pagliarulo struck out his first chance. 1-8, and that's another walk. So Niekro will walk in a run. Boy, with 2 outs and nobody on, all this has happened. 2 runs are in. It's now 3-0 Yankees. And here's Willie Randolph. Randolph to drop my D20. I'm sorry, my D6. So Randolph, his first time up, grounded out to Bernazard at second. Clutch situation, of course, with 2 outs and the bases loaded. 4-7 for Randolph, and that is a ground ball second base X. So we're looking at Bernazard again, and he's a 4. 4-9. That could be trouble. 4 and a 9. Nope, he wasn't holding anybody on, so he will get to it with a G3. But now he's got to avoid the E22 factor, which is a 12, 17, and 18. And he does, barely. So the inning is finally over. But we got to mark it manually. 2 runs come across the plate. And we got a 3-1 ball game. And Niekro actually pretty fortunate it didn't get worse. So 3-0 Yankees, but Cleveland does have the offense to come back. And Dave Gallagher, one of the players not carded by Strat-O-Matic, is going to lead off. And Gallagher is, believe it or not, he is 0 for 21 on the season. Does have 2 walks and 2 stolen bases, but he is 0 for 21. And I don't know how well this thing shows up on the computer, but in blue are his base chances. He's got a 1-2 and a 1-4 on his own card, and a 1-2 and a 1-4 here. Anything else he makes an out unless he goes off the pitcher card. So that's why, that is exactly why Gallagher is what he's doing. He hit 111 in real world. All right, so 6-9 for Hudson to pop up to second, and that's going to take care of Gallagher. He is now 0 for 22. Top of the order for Bernazard. He singled and got erased on a double play his first chance. That's a 2-4 for Bernazard, and that's a ground ball back to Hudson. 2 down. Two down for Pat Tabler, the DH. He hit into said double play his first time up. 3-8. I'm sorry, 3-7. 3-7 is a strikeout. 3-8 would have been a walk, but 3-7 is a strikeout. And that's going to end the inning very quickly, as Cleveland goes quietly in the third. After 3 complete, it is 3-0 Yankees. And Niekro has to try to regroup. See what he can do to try to regroup and get himself straight. He'll be facing bottom of the order, which will help. Rick Cerrone, Wayne Tollison, and Ricky. See what he can do about that. 4-4. Catcher X, that is Bando again. He's a 2-E-2. 2 and a 1. Boy, it happened again. Another one. This has to be a loaded D20. I'm going to switch out D20s. I tell you what. I'll let it slide this time, but I'm going to switch out D20s. This is something's wrong with this D20. So it will be a single. Don't think it'll be an error at least. Or maybe it will be 16, 2 and a 16 as a catcher. Nope, 17 and 18 were errors, but not 16. But either way, it's a little nubber that Rick Cerrone beats out. That's realistic for a base hit. So I'm going to take this D20 and swap it out because it just ain't working. The blue D20 is history, and the white D20 will take over. And we'll see if we get some better rolls this time. Wayne Tollison is your batter. And there's a 2, so this one's not doing much better either. Balk or pass ball. His chance of a balk. Niekro's balk rating's a 9. 1-9, he balks. And he does. It's a balk on Niekro. So the D20s are not helping out very much right now. All right, Tollison, your batter. 2-7 for Tollison against Niekro is a walk, and that's going to put runners at first and second. Niekro losing some control here. That's a lot of walks. In this last 2 innings, he has walked 4 batters and hit a batter. He's also balked. So he's been having some issues. Here's Ricky. He's 2 for 2. 1-6 for Ricky. 1 is a triple, and else he flies to left. And that is out number 1. If that had come up with a 1, I might have quit the game. I don't know. All right, so Claudell Washington steps to the plate with 1 out and 2 on. Claudell struck out and walked. 110, that's a ground ball shortstop A. That's exactly what they needed. So that will be a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning and keep the Yankees at bay. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. And Charles Hudson back out. You're facing Julio Franco. Yep, Chuck, take the D20 and shove it. That's about what I did with it. I didn't throw it away. I just put it away. I didn't throw it away. Didn't throw it out the window or anything. Here's Franco, 1-4, and that's a walk. So Franco walks 2 through 5 to get a jump. And he gets the 5, so he will go for the steal. 19 minus 2 for me is a 17, minus 3 is a 14. 1 to 14, he will steal it. And he's out. Caught stealing. Go figure. So maybe they should have held him there and not tried to steal, but trying to generate some offense and just didn't work. So here's Joe Carter. He singled and stole a base his first time up. 4-3. It's a ground ball pitcher X. That's Hudson. Hudson's an E0, so you know he's not going to make an error. And his range is a 3. So as long as he gets to this, it will be an out. Now as a 3, he needs basically a 4 or higher to get to this, which he does. So it's a 1-3 put out, 2 down. And that sends up Mel Hall. Oh, that skipped out of there, so let's redo that. 2-6 for Mel Hall. It's ground ball to first, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing there for the Tribe, who usually has their offensive shoes on, but they aren't working today against Mr. Hudson. All right, here's Donnie Baseball. He will lead it off against Niekro. 4-0 Yanks, top of the 5th. 2-5 for Manually. He will ground it to first. Joe Carter steps on the bag. 1 away. That will send up Winfield. He's had a sacrifice fly and he's walked, so no official at bats as of yet. 2-7. He's got an official bat now and he strikes out. Winfield with the whiff as Steinbrenner makes a face. That's Steinbrenner's favorite player, you know. All right, here's Dan Pasqua. 6-7, and that's a 1-19 single. Anything else he lines out, but it will be a single. Or Danny Pasqua. 2-out single. He will not be held. And here's Mike Pagliarulo. Pagliarulo struck out and walked. 2-10, and that's a ground ball to second. That will end the inning. So a much better inning for Niekro this time around. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. It is 3-0. This is the fatigue inning for Hudson. His fatigue rating is only a 5 for a starter. So we'll have to keep an eye on Hudson. Hudson starts his fatigue inning, but right now he doesn't look like he's fatigued at all. Here's Snyder, 2-8, ground ball to short, and Tollison is there, 1 away. 1 down for Mr. Jacoby. That's a 5-9, and that's a fly ball to left. Handled by Pasqua, 2 down. And Chris Bando is your batter. That's a 3-9 for Bando, and he grounds to Pagliarulo at third, so a 1-2-3 inning for Mr. Hudson. And he's through 5 innings with no problems whatsoever. he will keep full endurance into the 6th. And speaking of endurance, this is the endurance inning for Niekro, inning number 6. And he'll be facing Randolph, Cerrone, and Tollison, bottom of the order, which might help him out. 4-7. Ground ball second base X. That's Bernazard again. He's a 4. That can be trouble. 4 and a 4 certainly is trouble. 4 and a 4 isn't single. And let's make sure there's no error on top of that. E22, and that's a 12. I don't think there's a 12 there. Oh, there is. How about that? I spoke too soon. Second baseman E22, a 12 is sitting right here, is a 1 base error. 1 base error, so it's a single plus an error on Bernazard. Single plus the E4. Not exactly what Phil Niekro needed. So Randolph is at second. He will not be held. And Rick Cerrone is your batter. .38 for Cerrone, and that's a 1-3 single. Anything else he lines to short, so he will line it to short for out number 1. Hello, Tim. I didn't see you earlier. Sorry about that. Nice to see you in watching your tribe. 1 away now for Tollison. Niekro trying to pitch around the error from Bernazard. 2-7 for Tollison is another walk. So yet another walk for Niekro. 1 more base runner and he will reach fatigue. And Ricky Henderson is your batter. Bullpen activity for the Tribe already started. Let's look at their bullpen and see who they have that's the most rested that they could bring in. Make sure don't bring in anybody that's fatigued. Let's see. Carlton is fatigued. They can't use him in relief. But all the other guys they can use. So right-hander. Rich Yet is loosening in the bullpen for the Tribe. Rich not yet. So he might come in, but not yet. All right, so Henderson facing Niekro, first and second, 1 out. 2-3 for Henderson. That's a split chance. 1-15 is a single. That's a 13. It's a single. That's the advantage of the super advanced. In advanced, that's just a fly out. But in super advanced, it's a single. It's 1 star, so the bases are loaded. And now Phil Niekro has reached fatigue officially. And actually, with 2 lefties coming up, they're going to bring in the left-hander Ed Vandenberg. So that's going to be it for Niekro. His day is done. He is responsible for all runners on base. But with the lefty Claudell Washington and the lefty Mattingly coming up, Cleveland will go their left-hander out of the bullpen. And that is Ed Vandenberg. So we say goodbye to Phil Niekro and say hello to Ed Vandenberg. On the replay, Ed Vandenberg is 1-1, but it has an ERA of 10.57. 8 innings pitched, 13 hits, 6 walks, 4 strikeouts. He's given up 4 home runs in those 8 innings of pitching. So the bases are loaded. Infield playing back for the double play. Vandenberg, lefty on lefty to Claudell Washington. That's a 1-9 for Claudell, and he greets him with a double to right field. So that strategy, lefty on lefty, did not work in that particular situation. A double by Claudell. Ricky's going to almost automatically score by himself because he wasn't being held. 17 makes him an 18 not being held. Right fielder Snyder, though, is a -4, so that might change things. That would make him a 13. So they will go ahead and hold Ricky at third base with only 1 out. They will hold him at third. So it's a 2-run double for Claudell Washington. And it's 5-0 Yankees. And now here's Don Mattingly with second and third and 1 out. They could intentionally walk Mattingly and pitch to Winfield, perhaps. Let's see if they want to do that. I think they will, but then what do you do with Vanderberg? Do you leave him in there to face the right-hander? I think they're going to do that. They're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Mattingly. Set up a double play chance against Winfield. And they let Vanderberg stay in there to face Winfield. 2-6 for Winfield, struck him out. 2-6 against the lefty, struck him out. Of course, if it had brought a right-hander in, it would have been a double play, but you can't have everything. And you can't bring in like 15 pitchers at a time. I mean, you got to look at the big picture, not just the one at bat. And that still brings up lefty on lefty with Dan Pasqua to get him out of the inning. So Vanderberg to Pasqua, trying to get out of this with just the 2 runs allowed. Those 2 runs are charged to Niekro. 5-2 for Vanderberg as a fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. 2 runs come in, so we can close the book now on Phil Niekro. And the book was not very good. Let's go to the box score and get his official bad numbers for Mr. Niekro. Niekro is going to go 5 1/3 innings, give up 8 hits and 5 runs, all earned. He walked 6, struck out 4, and he hit a batter. And of course, Vanderberg is your new pitcher. All right, so 5-0 now, and Charles Hudson is loving it. Gallagher is your batter, Mr. 0 for 22. We're not in the 7th inning yet, so I don't feel, my rule is have to be the 7th inning before we start pinch hitting, so we're stuck with Gallagher. 1-6 for Gallagher, and he's going to fly it to left field. He's now 0 for 23. That will certainly be his last at bat of the game. And here's Bernazard, and the Indians can't wait for Brett Butler to get back and take over in center field. He'll be back in a couple games at the first part of May. Here's Bernazard, 2-6, and he's going to ground it to first. Mattingly steps on the bag, and Hudson's just in complete control in this game. Here's Tabler. 4-8, and that's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but he has nothing against his weakness. He's got full endurance. And that's going to do it. 6 innings in the books. It's still 5-0 Yankees. Vanderberg coming back out to face Pagliarulo, Randolph, and Cerrone. But Yet is ready in the bullpen. They might let Vanderberg pitch to Pags and then swap him out with Rich Yet. Let's see how that goes. See if that's the strategy that they wish to employ. Pags, 3-11 against the lefty. That's a ballpark blast. 1-7. That's a 4. It's gone. Mike Pagliarulo says, lefty or no lefty, I'm hitting a home run. And he did it with a ballpark blast. We'll check the replay just to be sure. Mike Pagliarulo against the lefty, 3-11. It's a ballpark blast. Ballpark blast for lefties are 1-7. That's a 4. So Mike Pagliarulo goes deep, home run number 3 on the season, RBI number 8. And that's going to do it for Vanderberg. So Vanderberg is going to leave on a sour note. And Rich Yet will come on and try to eat up some innings and not have to use all their bullpen. Rich Yet. Get the numbers on Yet. See what he does. Rich Yet. Numbers on Yet for the replay. He is 0-1 with 1 save and a 6.75 earned run average. 11 innings pitched, 10 hits, 6 walks, 7 strikeouts. And we can close the book on Vanderberg. Let's see what his not so great totals end up being. Vandenberg goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up 2 hits and a run, which was earned. Walked 1, struck out 1. And now Yet is on. Start the top of the 7th. It'll be Yet facing Randolph, Cerrone, and Tollison. .28, and that is a 1-19 single. So Randolph greets Yet with a base hit. That's hit number 11 for the Yankees. Randolph will be held, but won't go anywhere. Here's Rick Cerrone. .29, and that is another walk issued by Cleveland pitching. Now we know why they lost 100 games in 1987. All right, here's Tollison. Still nobody out. Yet 4-9, switch hitter batting left is another walk. The bases are now loaded. That will send up Ricky with the bases loaded and nobody out. Yankees looking to officially blow this thing wide open. Infield is in. 3-7, and that's another walk. So Rich Yet has walked 3 in a row after giving up a base hit. Forces in a run. Bases still loaded. And it's 7-0. Here's Claudell Washington. Yet's going to take one for the team. That's all there is to it. We're not wasting Doug Jones on a game like today. 3-10 for Claudell. That's a fly ball right field B ? Possible sacrifice fly, but the lead runner's Cerrone, so he's not even going to try it with his lack of speed and Corey Snyder's -4 arm. They're just going to let that go as a fly ball to right field for out number 2. And they don't want to run out of the inning and have Mattingly waiting on deck and saying, hey, the bases are loaded. I hit a bunch of grand slams in 1987. Give me a chance. So that's what's happening here with Rich Yet against Don Mattingly. 5-4, though, is a ground ball third base X. That is Jacoby. He's a 4.25. 4-9. Don't know if that's going to make it through or not. It does not. It's a G3. And now we'll look at Jacoby's an E25. Got to avoid 6, 8, 13, 15, and 17. And that's a 6. It will be an error. A one-base error on Jacoby. It's going to keep the inning going and bring home another run. When it rains, it pours. No RBI given. But the run does score as Jacoby boots it. It's now 8-0. Base is still loaded for Winfield, who's had an interesting day. He's hit a sacrifice fly, he's walked, and he struck out twice. So Yet 3 runs are in for the Yankees, but Winfield could really do the coup de grace right here. 1-6, and it's another walk. Rich Yet has walked another run in. Amazing. All these walks. It is now 9-0, and that brings up Pasqua, the 9th man to bat in the inning, against Yet, who has walked 4 guys this inning. 3-6 for Pasqua is another walk. Unbelievable. What is this, 1949? Another walk. These runs are unearned because of the error on Jacoby. So now the Yankees will bat around here in the 7th. But they're telling Yet, you're taking one for the team. You figure out how to get out of it. And here's Pagliarulo, homered to start the inning. If he homers again, it'd be a grand slam, of course. It's 10-0 Yankees. 1-6, and that is a fly to center, but it's a clutch result. Now, here's where I'm in a quandary. How clutch is it when you're up 10-0? But if you go by the letter of the law, clutch is 2 outs and runners in scoring position, which is what we have. We have that. We have 2 outs. Or is there only 1 out? Oh, you know what? It's only 1 out. I was thinking there were 2 outs. There's only 1 out. My bad. So it's a fly to center by Pagliarulo. The question is it a sacrifice fly? Well, Mattingly's the lead runner. He's not very good as a lead runner. It'd be a 1-14, but they don't want to send Mattingly running around if they don't have to, so they will just call it a fly to center. But I always wondered about that clutch result. If the game's out of hand, how clutch could it be? But that was only the 2nd out, so the clutch was not in effect. So here's Randolph. 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. Chance for a balk on Rich Yet. I'm sorry, balk on Rich Yet. And his balk rating is a 0, so there's no chance of a balk for Rich Yet. Thank goodness for that. 3-3 for Randolph. He lines it to third, and the inning is mercifully over. But the Yankees put up 5 runs here in the top of the 7th. That'll be all for Rich Yet. I think he's going to have to go away now. And they'll bring in somebody else, Camacho or somebody, to try to get through an inning. Perhaps. We'll do the gory details on Yet. They may have been more gory than anybody else. Rich Yet goes 1 inning officially. 1 hit, 4 runs, 3 earned, walked 5, struck out none. So the Indians pitching has walked 12 batters in 7 innings. That's how ugly it was. Hudson says, "What's the problem? I'm rolling." And he is certainly rolling. So he will be facing, with full endurance, he will be facing Franco, Carter, and Hall. 10-0 Yankees. 10 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Yankees. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors for Cleveland. Can't get much worse than that. All right, here's Franco against Hudson. 2-9. Line out to second base. Randolph is there. And Cleveland's not only not scoring runs, they're not really getting the ball out of the infield. I mean, they've had 2 flyouts to left. All the other outs have been in the infield. Pop out. I mean, look at all the pop outs and line outs they've had. A couple of ground outs. So they're not even getting, their exit velocity is probably like 2 miles an hour. Here's Joe Carter. 1-7. He strikes out. It's just Charles Hudson's day. That's all there is to it. Here's Mel Hall. 2-9, and that is well, they finally get a hit. 1-14 is a double. That's 10. First extra base hit of the game for the Indians. It's a double for Mel Hall. And that'll bring up Corey Snyder. Hall obviously not being held at second base with a 10-0 lead. Here's Snyder. 5-11. That's a ballpark blast for Corey Snyder. It's 1-10. That's a 20, though. That's the kind of night it's been for the Indians. The D20 normally has been low all game. And when they need a low result, it comes in as a 20. So it's a fly to left instead to end the inning. Them's the breaks. 7 innings are in the books. Hudson can still pitch if he wants to. They might go ahead and call it a day, though, for him. He went 7 innings. So I think they might go ahead and cap him at the 7-inning mark. And, of course, we need a new pitcher for the Indians as well. But let's look at the numbers on Hudson to finish him off in fine fashion. He will improve to 2-0 on the season. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. More than solid. And for Cleveland, they will bring on Ernie Macho Camacho to pitch. See if he can do any better than his compadres did. Camacho, come on, Camacho. He is 1-0 with a save and a 7.71 earned run average. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. All right, now Cerrone is your leadoff batter against Camacho. And let me see something here real quick. I'll move some stuff over to give more room for the score sheet. Make sure everything fits, which it looks like it will now. Let me check the focus, make sure it's not messed up here somehow. All right. Of course, if it's blurry, it's probably better for the Cleveland fans that it is blurry. All right. Camacho, 1-11 to Cerrone as a ground ball to short. 1 away. Brings up Wayne Tollison, shortstop. 3-4, and that's a line out to short. So 2 quick outs turned in by Camacho. 2 down for Ricky Henderson. 5-7, and that's trouble. 1-5 is a double, but that's going to be a single for Ricky. But with a 10-0, they're going to call the dogs off. He is not going to steal. They will hold him on just because, but he's not going to steal. So Camacho to Claudel, 6-8, and that's a 1-17 double, which is what it is, but it's 2 stars. So Ricky has to stop at second base. So it looked like a 1-2-3 inning for Camacho, but not so fast. Here's Mattingly, but 10-0. We're not walking Mattingly when it's 10-0. What's the point? There's no strategy in that. 3-7, that's a fly to center to end the inning. So Camacho, a rough inning, but he gets out of it. Camacho, he's going to go 1 inning. And let's see, give up 2 hits, no runs or strikeouts, and they'll figure out who they want to pitch in the 9th. Haven't decided yet. I might pitch one of these guys that doesn't have a card, that's not carded, possibly. I don't want to use Doug Jones unless he hasn't pitched in a while and just needs an inning of work, which I might do because I don't think he's pitched for a while, so might very well use him. We shall see. Right now, the Yankees need a new pitcher. Yankees will need a new pitcher, so let's get to the computer to do that. And see who they want to go to. Yankees, who do they have? Who make sure no one's overly fatigued. Let's see, Shirley is fatigued. He's the only reliever that's fatigued is Shirley. So do they want to go with Tim Stoddard maybe? Let's see. They'll go with Tim Stoddard. So Tim Stoddard will come in from the bullpen for the Yankees to take over for Hudson, who pitched extremely well. 7 innings of shutout ball, I would say, is pretty well. Stoddard's 1-1 with an ERA of 1.00. 9 innings pitched, 10 hits, 2 walks, and 14 strikeouts. And leading off for the Tribe will be Brooke Jacoby. Jacoby against Stoddard. That's a 2-8 for Jacoby. He's going to strike out. So Stoddard with the K. Here's Chris Bando. We are in the pinch hitting territory now, so Gallagher will definitely not hit for himself. They will pull a pinch hitter out. 2-7 for Bando is another strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts, and we need a pinch hitter. And let's see who they're going to use to pinch hit. They're going to use Carmen Castillo, and then Otis Nixon will go in and play center field. So Castillo pinch hitting. in the 8th, with Nixon center field in the 9th. All right, so Carmen Castillo, let's bring him into the game on the computer and see how he's doing. First of all, we got to record these 2 strikeouts that just happened. There we go. Now we can go over and get Castillo, get his numbers. Carmen Castillo is hitting .294, 2 homers, 4 runs driven in 17 at bats. 1-7, and he strikes out. So how about that? Tim Stoddard strikes out the side, and that'll do it for the Tribe. 10-0 Yankees going to the top of the 9th. Otis Nixon will now take over in center field. And now pitching for the Tribe. Let's see who they might go to. I'm going to do something a little bit unusual, I believe. This guy is not carded, and I did not print a card out for him. Frank Wills. He pitched 5 innings on the season with a 5.06 earned run average. So I'm going to bring Frank Wills into the game. And at this point, it doesn't matter what the cards are. I'm just going to read it off if it's off the pitcher. And if it's off the batter, of course, we go off the batter card. But it's going to be Frank Wills. I know it's unusual for video purposes that there's no pitcher up there, but trust me, I am looking at his card. So we'll be looking at the Frank Wills card and see what he does here against Mr. Winfield. That's a 4-4, and that is a fly ball center field X. And we just brought in Otis Nixon. And Otis Nixon defensively is a 2-E11. 2 in center field. He'll get to that. E11 for a center fielder. He's got to avoid on an E11. He has to avoid 3, 13, 16, and 18. Which he does, so it's a fly out to center field, 1 away. Winfield is out. And that'll send up Pasqua. 3-9 against the right-hander, and that's a single for Danny Pasqua. Single for Pasqua. Hit number 14 for the Yankees. And here's Pags. Pags against Willis. It's a 110, and that's a 1-15 double. That's a 6. It will be a double to center field. And Pascal will go ahead and stop at third base. So second and third with 1 out. And Willie Randolph, the batter. Infield is in, although it really doesn't matter. 5-3, and that's going to be a fly ball right field X. And that's Corey Snyder. He's a 2. 2-19, I believe that will freeze everybody. Yep, F3, nobody can advance. His error is an E11, so he's got to avoid 3, 4, and then 13 through 18, basically. That is a 16. Let me double check that. Is that an error on an E11? Yes, it is. It's a 1 base error. So it would have been an out, but instead it's an E9. And that's going to score the run and move Pagliarulo to third. That is the 3rd error on the Indians. Should have been an easy play, and he's dropped it. Can't blame Wills on that one. Or is it Wills or Willis? Let me look at his name again here. It's Wills, Frank Wills. Okay. I was gonna say what you talking about Willis, but it's Wills. All right, so here is Cerrone, runners at the corners. Infield looking for the double play against Cerrone. 2-7 for Cerrone, and he struck him out. 2 down for Tollison. That's a 1-5 for Tollison. Grounds it to first. Carter puts it away, and the inning's over. But 1 run comes in. It's unearned, thanks to the error by Corey Snyder. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. I would say last chance for Cleveland, but they're down 11-0, so I don't think the chances are very good. Tim Stoddard will go out and try to finish this ball game. Get the numbers on Wills real quick. He gave up 1 run, which is unearned in the 1 inning. Gave up 2 hits, no walks, and a strikeout. So Stoddard out to finish off the ball game. Be facing Bernazard, Franco, and Carter. Top of the order. Or near the top. Yeah, it is the top of the order. So Bernazard. 5-9 for Stoddard. Another strikeout. He has struck out all 4 he has faced. Here's Pat Tabler. 5-7. That's a ground ball. Second base X. That's Randolph. He is a 2. 2-8. He'll get to it. E17. He's got to avoid. On an E17, he has to avoid 3, 6, 15, and 18. And 13 is good play. 2 down, and last at bat possibly is Julio Franco. Franco, 1 for 3. 2-7, and that's a ground ball to short. That's going to do it. The Cleveland Indians are shut out by the Yankees 11-0. Tim Stoddard goes 2 innings, strikes out 4, gives up nothing. Indians are limited to 3 hits and 3 errors. For the Yankees, 11 runs and 15 hits and no errors. Winner is Hudson. He's 2-0. Loser Niekro. He's 1-1. Home runs in the game. Pagliarulo his 3rd, and that is the only home run of the game. Pagliarulo. So the the Yankees get 15 hits, and they're issued 12 walks for a total of 27. Plus the hit batters are 20. They had 28 base runners. Incredible that it could get like that, but it did. So let's get the final box score to get the final numbers. If there's anything that needs to be wrapped up. Yankees left 16 on base, so it could have been a lot worse. They left 16 runners on base. Cleveland left 3. So Indians fall to 8-10. Yankees go to 11-6. Player of the game, if there was one, would be Ricky Henderson. He was 4 for 5. But I'd pretty much give it to Charlie Hudson, though. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits shutout against a powerful Indians team that is really good with the bats. So we'll give the player of the game to Charlie Hudson. With all due respect to Ricky, we'll give it to Charlie Hudson. And now as we look at the standings after the end of April 24th, they look like this. Milwaukee is 13-2. They're in first place in the East. Toronto's 11-5. They're 2.5 back. Yankees are 11-6. They're 3 games back. Those are the top 3 teams. Cleveland drops a game. They're 8-10 now. They're 6.5 back. In the West, Oakland leads the West at a 13-4 record. The White Sox are 9-5. They're 2.5 back. And then there's a 3-way tie for 3rd between Seattle, Minnesota, and Kansas City. So next video or next broadcast on Strat-O-Matic 87 will be the April 25th date, and the first game on the agenda is the Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers from Tiger Stadium, and it will be Mark Gubicza, otherwise known as Mark Gubicza, against Jack Morris of the Tigers. Kansas City 7-8, Detroit 6-9. So that is a wild one here from the Mistake by the Lake, and sorry it couldn't have been a more incredible game. Or more, closer game than what we had, but that's just the way the dice turned out. that evil D20. I got rid of that real quick, but I think the damage was already done at that point. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in, spending part of your Wednesday night with me. Tomorrow I'm going to record the I might do it live. I haven't decided yet. The final game of the Braves and the Reds in History Maker Baseball. I might just record that and then upload it for Thursday. I'm not sure. And of course, on Saturday will be the live stream for the Reds home opener in History Maker Baseball against the San Diego Padres. Friday, I may do the first game of the April 25th date. Depends on what's going on, or I might push it back to a Saturday. I'm not sure. Have to wait and see how it all goes. But thank you again for tuning in, spending part of your Wednesday evening with me. For all those that were here, appreciate it. And it's always, like I said, I'm much more comfortable doing just the recording than the live stream. But the live stream thing is kind of, I'm kind of getting a little bit more comfortable with it now. So, I may be doing more of that. I'm not sure. I'll probably be recording, a good number of these games as well. But just depends on what mood hits me and who's live streaming at the time. And I don't want to try to live stream over top of somebody else that's already doing it. So I try to look around the YouTube and see who's active at the time. And I realized tonight was an off night for RJL, so I figured I was good to go. And then we'll try to play it from after that. So the D20, the blue D20, I will maintain. I will just put it away for a while. And even though Kansas City and Detroit both have blue in their color, we will not have a blue D20. Probably going to have a white D20. So we'll just have to live with it. That's the way it is. So there's your box score. There's your score sheet, rather. 11-0 Yankees. Charles Hudson, the man. 7 innings pitched, 3-hit shutout. And Ricky Henderson, 4 for 5. And 2 runs scored. So did his job from the leadoff spot. So again, thank you all. It's getting a little after 10, which is getting closer and closer to my bedtime. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Again, all you out there, stay safe. Enjoy the hobby. If you're in a cold region, stay warm. And we'll look forward to seeing RJL again tomorrow night as he picks back up the 83 season with the 1st of May games. And then we'll see what happens on this channel as far as what comes next. Well, next is going to be the History Maker, but I don't know if it's live or Memorex. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Tabby says she wants me to come back downstairs and take care of her, or help take care of her. So I'm going to go ahead and go with her wishes. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.